Okay, let's talk real quick about legal foundations, aka how is your entity, your business, how is it created? Is it a sole proprietorship? Meaning, is it just yourself? Is it my name operating and doing a service or a product and good, and I accept the income and thus I pay the taxes? Or is it an LLC, a limited liability corporation, where it's its own entity that pays for stuff, receives income, and then can disperse back to me? Or is it an S corp? Now, big thing is always operate business under a business entity. The difference between being a sole proprietor, aka yourself, or a business entity is that all liability goes back to whatever's operating the business. So all debt, all equity, any issues, you do not want to be held liable. Your business is held liable. So always operate under a business entity. Now, this is where the big question comes. Do we operate under an LLC? Do we do an S corp, a C corp, all those fancy terms? Um, we are not tax professionals. We are not legal professionals. So this is just advice based off of what we have been forwarded from. Always access your tax professional and verify these facts. However, to simplify so that you're not hearing a bunch of big words that you might get lost on, the difference is an LLC and an S Corp are actually the same entity. The only difference is how they're filed for taxes. So an LLC, when you build it, as you should have with this products and good business, right? This e-commerce business, your LLC will be able to disperse the profits to you. That way, it goes back and forth as its own tax filing together with you. I hope that makes sense. It's all encompassed. So you don't have to pay for an additional tax filing. It goes under your own. I think it's a 1040 and a Schedule C or something real quick that your accountant does. And that means all expenses can be deducted back to you. So if I spend 25,000 on a business and I haven't profited yet because I keep putting all the profits back into the business, I myself can take those deductions against my other salary, my other incomes. So if I have a W 2, let's say just for round numbers, I made 100 grand and I was able to expense 25 grand to the business, I myself can deduct that and thus only pay taxes on 75 grand. Thus, your taxes go down. I think if you're in California, you save about $8,000 in taxes that right there, the government has just allowed you to invest back in your business. Now, this also includes being able to deduct cell phone, a home office, a car if you're driving around specifically for it, right? Certain things like that. Um, this is where you can deduct your Wi-Fi, like little expenses like that. Office, dinners, vacations where it's solely a business vacation, right? Not a vacation, but a business trip, right? If you go to Vegas for a business conference, that is a business expense, which then gets deducted right back to you against your income. Awesome. That's how we want it. Now, why, like a lot of people will ask, well, should I file as an LLC or an S Corp? Again, verify with your tax, with your CPA, your legal consultant. But the advantages are when you file as an S Corp, you're actually paying yourself a salary. So there's a new entity in place. So when you actually do deductions, so if I'm claiming expenses, instead of coming directly back to me back and forth with the LLC, I actually have to create an expense report, which then the S Corp pays me in the salary reimbursements for. Then that S Corp has to file taxes as such. It has to file employment, payroll taxes as well. So you can see it gets a little bit more complicated when you're filing as an S Corp versus just an LLC. You have the same liability protections, you have the same legal protections either way. Never do sole proprietor because then you're just out in the open. But when you're an LLC, it makes certain sense until a certain profitable point. That you need to verify with your tax or legal representation. That point only matters when it's time to file for taxes. So when you're trying to think, should I do LLC or S Corp? Which one should I file as? Wait until the end of the year and then assess. Have your CPA, have your tax consultant actually run the numbers then. It's not until that point that you actually need to file and show how you dispersed any of the profits or expenses. So don't feel pressured, but they should be able to do a single time assessment and verify which one will save you more. That being said, make sure you have your foundation set. Make sure you are operating under an LLC, which will give you a option later down the road to file as an S corp when you're making that much profits where it will benefit you. Okay? Hopefully that makes more sense than a lot of the YouTube ether out there. And again, verify with your tax professional. We highly, highly recommend those that we work with, CapForge. Please reach out to us if you would like to be connected. They will gladly take you on, do an assessment, make sure everything is clean and clear. They're bookkeepers, CPAs, tax consultants, so they will do it all. Also, very, very good in the whole business coaching realm. They work with e-com, they work with sole proprietors, LLCs, everything under the sun. So they will be able to guide you efficiently. All right, get out there.